Hey everybody, welcome to Comics with Bueller. As always, I'm Bueller. It's Friday night, 5:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. This is my weekly live stream. I always have a guest, but today is very special because I didn't come alone. I came with a bunch of people, and these are my fellow Comic Core members. You'll probably see a bunch of little boxes down below, and these people are all great. I want to take a minute to welcome everybody to the show. We're going to have a good time. We got a great topic. We're going to talk about trends for 2019, and you're going to meet a lot of great people. First person on our list, we're going to start out with one you might already know because he's already made an appearance on the Bueller Show. He's the great legend himself. Legend, say hello.
This is the great legend. I'm coming at you live from Comics with Bueller. Almost said the Comic Core there. We're going to be going to Comic Core later tonight, but right now it's such a pleasure. Thank you so much, Bueller, for having me along with the Comic Core on your show tonight, man. I'm very excited to see what. So let's get this party started.
Right on. Thank you very much, Legend. Legend's going to be keeping an eye on the chat. He does it better than pretty much everyone I know, so he'll be calling people out, and so I appreciate that. The next guy I'm looking at right here is none other than Paul from Midwest Comics. Paul, say hello to the people watching.
Hey, everybody, and thanks, Bueller, for having us on. Obviously, I missed the memo about the dress code tonight, but I'm glad to be here, and we're going to have a good time tonight.
Paul, you have a face of an angel, so, I mean, you don't need to dress up. You look amazing. The next one on my list.
Tell my wife that.
I did. She wouldn't hear anything about it, so I'm sorry, buddy. The next person's on my list is two people. This is KATREN and Mark. KATREN, and say hello.
Hi.
Hi, Bueller. Hi, guys.
They're very, look at them. They got all dressed up, and they got nowhere to go tonight, but just to sit in front of a webcam and talk to me. I thank you so much for being here, you guys. I appreciate it. Mark, what kind of tie you got on?
I have this kind of tie.
Van Heusen.
Yeah, Van Heusen.
Very nice, very nice. And Kat, I mean, is that a really nice looking dress you got on there? Are you guys going out later tonight?
Well, we still need to hit the gym later.
Yeah. So, might as well work out well dressed up.
Yep.
Very cool, very cool. Next member on the panel, this is Cwood19. Cwood, say hello. He's running for office this month, people, just so everybody knows. Cwood, say hello to everybody.
Oh, I will make WCW great again. No, how's it going, guys?
That's awesome.
Glad to be here.
Well, I appreciate you being on. And last person, he is the founding member of the Comic Core. He's the one that brought all these people together. This is Chad. Chad is like the man in black tonight. Chad, go ahead and say hello to the 54 people we got watching so far.
Hello. Thanks for having us, Bueller.
Awesome, awesome. So what I want to do, I want to real quick say thanks to my moderators that are in the chat right now. We have Sam's Tangled Web, Jeffrey Komikhan Henson, and we also have John's Comments to His Kids. They're the ones doing the moderating for me every week, so I want to say thank you to them. But I want to take some time and let you guys get to know these people on the panel before we get to our subject. The first one, we'll go ahead and jump back to the Legend. Legend, tell us about you, what you do, how long you've been around, and that great Fantastic Four collection that I've seen so many times. Share your info, buddy.
Well, real quick, we got to go to the chat, Bueller, because the chat is always hopping here on Comics with Bueller. And, man, it's going to be a task, but I'm up to the task. I'm going to be checking the chat throughout the night. We got a $5 super chat from Economics in Comics, and he says $1 for each. Comic Core is sick. So thank you so much, Economics with Comics, for that awesome donation. But before I check everyone else in the chat, not to say y'all are chopped liver or anything, because me and Bueller, we're so glad you're here tonight. I want to tell you a little bit about the origin of the Great Legend, how the Great Legend show came to be, what it's all about, and all of that good stuff. Recently, Who Dat Comics and Movies, Who Dat, shout out, shots fired. All right, just give a little shout out to the man from the NO, the New Orleans. But I got into gaming first. I got a buddy of mine, Dustin. He's always wanted me to, hey, why don't you do some game streaming? You got a great voice, you have some awesome commentary when we're playing Gears of War and Red Dead Redemption and GTA 4 and all that stuff. So I did that. I did a lot of video gaming, and I'd also did a cooking show called The Great Chef Show, which was a lot of fun. I did some episodes of that pretty much before I got into making comic book videos. But and now I do comic book videos, game videos, truth videos, which is awesome. So definitely check out that Legends Truth over on my channel. Basically, in a nutshell, you know, the great Legend Man always coming at you live with comics, cooking, gaming, and the truth. And we just have a great time doing it. Like I said, so glad to be here. You don't mind if I go over the chat real quick before we get to the next person, do you?
Go for it.
All right, man. I hope my voice ain't breaking up too bad. Let me check here. Let me look here real quick. You know, it wouldn't be okay. I'm good. Okay, I'm good. Oh my goodness! Hold on, Bueller. Hold the freaking phones. We've been here all freaking night. I just saw something pop up. Let me see. Who's this from? Who is? Let me scroll down. Like I said, the chat's moving really quick. Oh my goodness! Scott Farr, the B team in the house. Love you guys, man. Scott, we love you, man. We're proud to be the B team. We're proud to be Bueller's team. We're Bueller's beauties. We make the man look good, man. That's what it's all about here on Comics with Bueller. And man, Scott Farr, thank you so much. But let's check the rest of the chat. And I'm going to try to take it all the way up from the top. And let me just pull out the chat here. Let's see. Well, that's the best way to check it. And, man, let me go down the line. We got Doominator X in the house. We got Matt, Thanatos Comics, Don Moser, Spectacular Spider Grandpa, Comic Book Gallery, Comic Books NYC. Now, also make sure, fans, you know, I'm kind of new to this Bueller's chat, and the chat moves a lot quicker than it does on my channel. That's for dang sure. But we got the uncanny Kyle freaking Waka's here from all the way from New Zealand. Like I said, Scott Farr, man. Scott Farr doing it not near. He's doing it from far, but he's dropping it like it's hot in the chat tonight. Wingnut is here. Hey, like you said, moderator, Sam's Tangled Web, also known as the Architect. Great to see him. Some guy named Comic Tom. Man, that's all you need to know. Comic Tom 101, mic drop, and the fun begins. Comic Tom is here. Great to see that man in the house. We got Comic Book Gallery in the house. Economics and Comics, like I said, is here. NYC, Comic Book Gallery, Cape Mayor, Dumex, Brett Hessart. Who else we got? Oh, Bake. The Snake is here. Jam Sessions, Rayman the Silencer, Brett Hessart. I almost said Brett the Hitman Hart. We got Reggie Simmons, man. It's great to see Reggie in the house, cranking out some kick butt videos. We got Jam Sessions. Everyone's here. Dodora 73, Peter Benjamin Parker. And Peter Benjamin just, hey, where's Tom? Hey, you know, Tom's a busy man. Tom ain't on Bueller all the time, son. So, God, you got to take the B team tonight, fella. But anyways, man, it's great to see you all. Steve Whitting, Jam Sessions, like I said, Prowler 671, Nick Larson, Seawoodard 19, Barbarian Kung Fu Barbarian, Jesse Bickmore, Don Moser. God, 66 watching, man. I'm going to get back to the chat a little later, Bueller, but, man, it's really going crazy down in there.
Hey, I wanted you to cover one more thing there for me, Legend. You also do another thing on your channel with there's 3 of us on here on the panel every once a month usually. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, man, I totally forgot about that. A lot of great stuff happening with our Wwe Ppv Reviews. So if you're a big-time wrestling fan, you watch World Wrestling Entertainment, or hey, if you just watch New Japan Pro Wrestling, MLW, Dragon's Gate, Impact, whatever you're into, whatever kind of wrestling you like, come check us out. We're talking WWE. So at the end of every WWE pay-per-view, usually about 30 minutes later, it's me, Bueller, Woodard, and Chad, and we're talking about the wrestling. If it was a good match, we rate each match out of 5 stars. We rate the show, how it's going. We talk about predictions for possibly the next show, the next storyline, and we always have a good time. And one other little drop of knowledge, if I can quote the Marvel Madness Media mogul of all time, Sam Spectacular Tangled Web over there. We're doing Legends Live Auction tomorrow night, 9 Central Standard Time on youtube.com/our.95. So make sure you check that out as we come at you live with some of the best deals you're ever going to find outside of eBay, but in the privacy of your own home. Awesome. That's how we do it. Thanks, awesome. Bueller. James Hardy, by the way, $5 super chat. James Hardy, looking good. Good evening, Bueller and gang. Just camped out by the mailbox waiting on Bueller box. Hope y'all have a great show. By the way, he loves those glasses you got.
Well, thank you. I thought I'd add something a little extra for 2019. So I went to the Dollar Tree and got myself a pair of one-times reading glasses, and that's what's on my face now. So there you go.
Man, while you read the comic books, you look like Russell Westbrook.
That sounds good. Legend, thank you so much. I appreciate you. And just so everybody knows, everybody's link that you see on this panel, all their links are down below. Please feel free to go check out their channels. If you like what you see, please support them because there's some great people. But we're moving on to someone else. We're moving on to Paul from Midwest Comics. And Paul, I want to give you the spotlight because you do some really cool things. And I want you to kind of elaborate on what you do. And I think a lot of people watching would be interested in the services you provide. So, Paul, please feel free to have the floor and share with what you do.
I think what you're referring to is the fact that for the past few years, I've been cleaning and pressing books. And, I've started a business around it, and I'm fully insured, and it's a lot of fun. I mean, I've had a lot of fun with it, and I've improved some good books for people. I've done everything from X-Men 1 to Care Bears for someone. I mean, doesn't matter if it can be pressed, I'll press it. If anybody ever needs anything cleaned or pressed, let me know. We'll talk about it. Yeah, he does. That's right. But yeah, I mean, I've been doing YouTube for a couple years now, and I've been pressing for about that long. So
now, Paul, you're on another channel as well. Besides the Midwest Comics Man, you do another channel on Sundays, another show, correct?
Yep, that would be Blaster Stash It. I think we're up to about our 125th weekly episode. Every year we do the Stash Awards, which we did last week, which is, our picks for the best books and best artists and everything in the year. But yep, that's every Sunday night, and every Friday night after Bueller is the Comic Core.
Very cool. But I want to get back to your pressing a little bit. So I want to, if anyone in the chat has any questions about getting a book pressed or cleaned, you can ask it in the chat. I'm sure Paul is going to be looking for that. It's a great service. And you said a while back that you got insured. How many other companies are insured to be pressers?
I don't know of any.
So you're the only one.
Yeah, as far as I know. I mean, I know even with CGC, if you use their pressing service, it's basically part of it is there's a fine print down there says they're not responsible for any damage to the book. Basically, it's insured from the moment it hits my doorstep till the moment it leaves.
Awesome.
Including if I damage it.
That's awesome. That way people can feel safe, about sending a book because they are fragile, and there's definitely some older books or whatnot, they're kind of falling apart. But just to know that they're insured in the hands of Paul is a great thing to know, that you're not going to be out money if something happens to it. So where would they get in contact with you for you to provide that service?
They can contact me through my channel, or I have a website. It's midwestcps.com. And I see Don Moser asked in the chat, how does it work and what does it do? Basically, it will take just about any book and make it better. I always say there's no book that won't benefit from a pass. It'll get rid of any surface dents, any creases that don't break color. If it breaks color, it won't fix it. It can make it look better, but it won't totally fix it.
And how long have you been doing this again?
A couple of years now.
A couple of years. Awesome. And you've pretty much perfected the technique, so you're one of the best, correct?
I like to think so. and I mean, every presser is I mean, I've talked to a lot of them. All of them will kind of give you the basic broad strokes of everything, but we tend to be a pretty secretive bunch, and we all have our own little quirks of how we do things that are different from everybody else. And I like to think I've perfected a pretty good process.
Hey, Dak Hammer in the chat wants to know real quick, Midwest, how about spine roll? Do you work on spine roll sometime?
Yes, absolutely. And it can be fixed. It's never going to look exactly probably how it was, and depending on the degree of spine roll, but you can certainly do a lot of work to make it better.
Yeah, make sure Dak Hammer in the chat, don't roll the comic book and put it in your back pocket. Get some Mylar on that bad boy. Always stay protected.
That's right. That's right. Well, Paul, your link is down below for your YouTube channel, so everybody can check that out. Also, Paul, if you want to put your your website in the chat, go ahead and do that, so people might want to find that. I'd appreciate it if you did that. But that's Paul from Midwest Comics. He's the best presser in the business. He's fully insured. He can make your book look even better. So why not take him up on the offer? But we're going to move on to the next couple of people on the panel, and they're going to prom right after this. And I'm pretty sure they probably went to prom together, if I'm not mistaken. But
Yes,
We did.
Mark and KATREN figures. Mark and KATREN, the floor is yours. Kind of introduce yourself to the 85 people watching right now.
Well, hi. I'm the cameraman for KATREN Figures. I do most of the editing. I'm allowed to come out once a week on a Friday. It's great. I don't know. Keep going, honey.
I'm Kat of KATREN Figures, so I'm one half of our creative team. Basically, I do comic reviews, news, statue reviews, what have you. I really love my What's in My Pull Box videos that I do. Those are some of the funniest ones on our channel.
No, I think the ones of you opening boxes or with scissors are kind of funny.
Yeah, or the ones where Mark turns on the camera and doesn't tell me.
Those are the best.
Yeah.
Those are the best. I like those. But you said, Mark, you get to come out on Fridays. What do you get to do the rest of the week?
Work.
Do you have your own box where you're in? You're set with your box.
I send them out to the salt mine.
Oh, okay. All right.
We don't talk about it.
That's all right. That's all right.
But it's great. It's a 5x5 box.
All right. And how long have you two worked together on doing the YouTube? Was it from the very beginning? You guys were doing it together?
That's 2 years. Yeah.
Yeah. We've been going strong. Well, yeah, 2 years.
Yeah.
2 years.
KATREN Figures has been going on 2 years. We've been going on a bit longer than that.
Oh yeah.
I see something over there from Chad. What is it? I can't see it. Oh. So in case you guys aren't aware, and because we do the Comic Core show, and this is the panel on the Comic Core, we're all worried about Mark. He's in a situation where he blinks a couple times, and we know he's in danger. And then KATREN, she likes to control the home type thing. So we're all a little bit worried. We talk about it all the time. Make sure you check out Comic Core tonight after this, so you can find out some more details.
You'll see if you've got a black eye
and
for it.
it's a hashtag save Mark. So going on. But I want to get back to you guys real quick. So you also do you have your YouTube channel. It's KATREN Figures. And how long have you been doing that again?
About 2 years. This October.
All right, but that's not the only thing that you do now, right? You do something else that's pretty freaking cool. I'd like you guys to talk about that.
So when we first started the channel, we just kind of sat down and talked about like certain things that we wanted out of it, certain goals just for ourselves and just in general. And I told him that one of our like pipe dreams, like reaching for the stars, not going to happen, would be to review for DC fans. Because I'm a hardcore DC girl.
You are.
That's my heart. And yes, for life. And this last year, that dream came true. And I am the official Wonder Woman reviewer for DC fans. Yeah.
That is awesome. That's an amazing feat, and that's something to be proud of. Congratulations on that. Wonder Woman, the hottest female in comic book history, and you are the #1 person to review that book. So if y'all aren't subscribed to DC Fans, make sure y'all take a look. In a book, reading Rainbow, I can do anything. Okay, sorry.
Very cool. I've watched her. So you do Wonder Woman every time, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so that's every
so
2
lucky.
weeks.
You're so lucky. She does Wonder Woman every.
61.
Yes, she does.
61 that technically came out this week is going to be coming out next week because of the holidays. So their offices are like really backed up and everything. That's why a lot of the reviews that came out these last few weeks have been like behind because of Christmas and New Year's and everything. But 61's coming out next week, guys.
Awesome. So do you get advanced copies of this?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so you already know what's going on and stuff. So, but you can't put it. You can't do the review till it hits the shelves, correct?
I can do the review, but I can't say anything publicly until it gets released.
All right, and she sticks with that guy. She doesn't. The only person she tells is Mark, and that's because he's the one filming the video, correct?
Yeah, I'm the one who films, edits, and pieces it together at the end sometimes.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, thank you so much. I'm going to move on down. I'm hearing from the chat that there's something wrong with the links that are in the description down below, and I'll try to take a look at that and see if I can't fix it. So I apologize. But the next person on our list is soon to be a president-elect, Wood 19. How you doing? We're giving the floor to you. Kind of talk about your channel and talk about your Tuesday night live stream and all the good stuff that you show and all those original art pieces that you got. I always like hearing about them. Go ahead, Wood. Share your thoughts, my friend.
Thanks for having us all, Bueller. This is awesome. If you guys catch my channel, I'm Carson from Woodard19. Every Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, I have this crazy one and a half hour show where I just show my pickups, and usually I try to come up with a topic kind of similar to this and just, cover what's on my mind once a week and, just have fun with it. So I have books like this for some reason, or I collect ash cans now apparently, or these old Marvel magazines. So I kind of just collect everything on my channel and show it off. Also collect like original art, like behind me here. I have this nice Catwoman. I also have a sketchbook. So when I go to conventions, I get a chance to, show off my sketches and all that wonderful stuff.
So I know you always show the original artwork that you have done, and you do have a lot of people do commissions. And I'm curious if you can kind of give me a rundown as far as like when you have an artist do a commission, how long does it take them to do it, and what kind of price range do you look at when you're at a con?
Usually it depends, obviously, on each and every artist. If I go to a con Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I usually try to plan my con based on the commission I want. So, for instance, say this is from Andy Bennett, and if I wanted an Andy Bennett Catwoman beyond anything else, I would make sure I'm at his table Friday, first thing, lined up, all that good stuff. I don't have my Ty Templeton on me this second. The book's way over there. I can get in a little bit if you'd like. But it took me 2 or 3 conventions to get him, since he's pretty popular and, he draws high quality. And, obviously when you're drawing high quality, you're not going to rush through it. So he will fill up his weekend in the first 3 or 4 hours of a con. So usually I try to plan way in advance, at least 1 commission per convention. In terms of time it takes, like I said, some guys, they can knock it out in a couple of hours, depending on, how popular they are or how efficient they are. And like I said, some of them literally take all weekend. So that's why it's kind of a pain having a book sometimes. I love getting my sketches in my sketchbook. So if you hand it off Friday, your book might not be back in your hands till Sunday. So it's always kind of a roll of a dice. So I do highly recommend doing any type of research if you're in commissions and to go to the monetary value. Usually my cutoff's about $100. Used to be lower, but with inflation and everything, I keep upping it every year. So right now, I'd say about $100 and under is what I put. But I've seen some beautiful, beautiful commissions, obviously at 3 and 4 figures.
So do you have a ballpark figure as far as how many commissions you have?
Ooh, I don't even know. Probably, my guess, if I had to count the pages of the book over there, I might have 20 to 25 filled. Plus on the wall, I probably have about 12 along the wall. I've probably got about 15 sketches over there on my other wall. And there's like 3 or 4 over there and 2 or 3 up on the wall too. So yeah, there's quite a bit.
Awesome. And I was asking, so your live stream, you do it every Tuesday, correct?
Yep. Unless there's like a crazy holiday, like, Christmas. Like Christmas time, people are like, where are you? It's Tuesday. I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm hosting my family.
Do you have a set time when you do your live stream?
Yeah, I usually try to be up and at them exactly at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, unless, unfortunately, real life strikes. I have to work sometimes at that time. And usually I'll try to announce it in advance on the previous live stream or maybe on Comic Core. if I can't make it exactly at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. But I try to have that set schedule just to maintain that consistency.
We do have a question in the chat from the Great Legend Show. He says, can we see the Ty Templeton commission?
Here, give me like 30 seconds. Go over the chat, Legend.
All right, hey, thank you. So we got Midwest is in the chat. Man, oh, is that Chuck? Chuck Load of Comics is here. We're going to have a lot of fun with Chuck Load at C2E2. Definitely check out Chuck Load's channel. It's an awesome channel, very awesome. I can't said awesome. I don't love it so much. We got Tacoma Comics is there saying what's up. Oh, and I want to go back earlier. My main man with the master plan, Robert Galvan. He is here, man. And when Galvin's here, he drops it like it hot with that qualified grade, a little bit of that green donation label, $5. He says, to all my favorite people in the comic book community, subscribe to Comic Core and my buddy Bueller. That's right, everyone. You know, after our main man Bueller gets the links fixed, click on the links, man. Oh, and then subscribe to everybody. So there he is. Say some stuff, Woodard.
So here's the Ty Templeton sketch I was talking about. It took me 2 full conventions to basically get this, and I think he charged. And I'm usually pretty upfront about how much I pay on these things. So I know people have those questions. I paid about $75 for this sketch in the book from Ty Templeton. So he's like my highest recommended person. If you see him going to a con near you, find him and get something from him, because he is the nicest, best value in terms of commissions, I think. And I always got to show up because I know, Chad's coming up next. I'll show this to him too. There's my comic, Superboy 90s from Todd Grummett. So I was lucky enough to get that, at a Cincinnati Comic Expo. This is, we talked about grail pieces and stuff previously on the show. People have books and stuff. For me, this is like a grail piece for me getting this. So I did have to up my quota $100, like I said, but I'm extremely happy to have that. And then there you go, Legend. I just got this.
Wow.
2 Richards at the last con I went to from Bob Hall.
Wow.
So I was happy to get that. And then
awesome.
This one's for Kat, I guess, since she likes the Titans. I got this Nightwing.
Awesome.
So, yeah, just a few of the book. So I'm very happy to have this. And like I said, I just completely threw the figure of 25. There may be more, maybe less than that. And usually if you guys have the sketchbooks, I always like to recommend if you meet the writers, they don't have anything to sketch for, obviously, they'll be more than happy to sign your sketchbook for you. So I do try to collect as many SIGs as possible inside my book too. So this one's my grail.
Everybody needs to check out Seawood 19, his live stream on Tuesdays. You'll see a bunch of stuff like that he shows every week, a bunch of his books. He's doing but all his the commissions that he has done are just amazing. So please check him out on Tuesdays. But we're gonna move on to the last guy on the panel. This guy, he is the founder of the Comic Core. He's the one that brought all these people together. And he's been doing a lot of the legwork behind the scenes. He likes to store his comic books in Tupperware boxes or whatever. I don't know what he does. But everybody say hello to Chad. Chad, the floor is yours. Kind of tell everybody about the Comic Core itself and why you brought us all together.
So the Comic Core, hey, first off, thanks for having us on here, Bueller. This is awesome. I love to spend Friday nights with this particular group of people. Can't ask for anybody nicer than everybody on here. The principle behind the Comic Core was to bring the community together and make it a community channel. I think we've done a really good job of that. A lot of new people are coming around, but I mean, it's all about promoting, or I'll say it, it's a quest for positivity. And that's what we've been trying to do for the longest time. We wanted to show our gratitude by dressing up a little today and come and see you. We're excited.
You guys look great. Everybody looks great. Everybody looks great.
I even shaved up. Me and Woodard were talking about it. I'm gonna wear a black tie. He's gonna have a red tie. So we didn't want to clash. Mark goes, I'm gonna wear the dress, and Kat punched him and said, I'm gonna wear the dress. So. No, the whole thing was to bring us together, a group of like-minded individuals that like to talk and have a good time, and that's what we're trying to do.
That's right. We do. We have a good time. It's kind of after hours, and this whole group is usually there. And sometimes we have some guests. And talk about some of the guests we've had on. We've had creators on the show, and we always like to interview them and get their thoughts. But just kind of run down a couple of the people that we've had.
We've had Chad Ciccone from Action Labs. He's on there. We had Einstein from Tom from Wrong Earth and out of
Ahoy Comics.
There you go. Thank you. And
Captain Ginger, that Heaven book, Wrong Earth.
Captain Ginger.
That's a great book.
What's that?
High Heaven. High Heaven.
High Heaven.
With his tabby crew.
I was just looking at the chat. It said if I had C. Woodard, is your finger tattooed?
No.
Yeah. I don't have a finger tattoo. I don't know. I'm looking at the chat. No. So we have a lot of stuff going on. We actually got a sponsor. It's a local shop around here. He's got 7 stores in the Pittsburgh market. New Dimension Comics. They give us a lot of our giveaways that I have to send out over there. ASAP.
Right. That's a good point, because we do giveaways on that show all the time, and they're really easy giveaways. It's basically just, what color is the sky, and that's like a giveaway type thing, right? Is water wet? And if you answer correct, you win a prize. So
still trying to find that general manager of giving away.
That's awesome. And we have 100 watchers right now, so I want to say thank you so much to everybody who's watching. I'm so glad everyone's getting to meet all these great people that I had the pleasure of 2018 meeting. Chad, I need a favor though. Apparently my links are messed up. Can you go ahead and put the Comic-Core link in the chat every now and then, and people can check that out, and they'll watch us tonight at like a half hour after this show, and then we'll have all the correct links to everybody's channels on that, so they can check those out and go check out like the Legend and Paul and KATREN and Seawood and myself. Even my links on there, so that's kind of cool. But Chad's great. Chad, like I said, he brought this team together. He had a vision. He made it happen. We're all very grateful to be on here, and honestly, I consider all you guys very close friends. And like 2018 is a great year, and all you guys made it possible for me. So I just want to say thank you. But you know what? We got to move on to our topic for tonight. Okay.
Hey, real quick, Bueller, before we get to that topic, earlier, Robert Galvin, one of the best folks here on the comic book community. This man epitomizes positivity in the community. Robert Galvin, we love him a lot. He did another $5 super chat, just showing some love for the Comic-Core. He says, Comic-Core, the best when it comes to comics and community. Subscribe. And he says, Bueller, love you, buddy. And then awesome. Bay giving a little Happy New Year's love, man. Happy New Year's. Thanks, Comic-Core, and everyone in the chat. He says, comic karma is real. And, Bueller, you said you had one of the greatest years of your life in 2018 in the comic book community, just getting into YouTube in the comic book community. And at the end of 2018, the comic book community was a big part of the Hero Initiative live auction that Strictly Comics presents. Well, Strictly Comics put it together. He's 1/4 of what you see on Thursdays on JLS Comic Conversation. And he had this amazing, we had a 3-day auction on my channel, hosted on my channel. A lot of people from the community donated, great prices. So the community donated the items, and then, the folks bidded on the items, and all that money is going to the Hero Initiative, and Edwin's still working on that. But the great thing is, in 2018, we really got to see the comic book community come together, and it was just probably one of my most I've almost been doing this summer. I'll be doing YouTube for 10 years, and I think 2018 by far is the best year. And I'm not saying I had a lot of sub growth or channel growth or any of that kind of stuff, but as far as community growth, growing together as a community, I think 2018 was the best year for that. So hats off to the whole community. Hats off to Scott Farr, man. This guy just can't stop. He says, can't stop this community giving into 2019. So thanks, Scott Farr, for that super chat. Really, really glad you're here.
Well, I'm going to take that as a segue into what our next topic is, was just trends for 2019. And I think what you just said, as far as community coming together, that's a trend that's going to keep on going onto this year. But I want to talk about trends in comics themselves. And I'm going to open it up to everybody. And I want everybody's opinions on this and stuff. And we're probably going to go for about another half hour and stuff. But the trends from 2018, are they going to continue to 2019? Are we going to see anything new? The one thing that obviously strikes a chord with me, and I've done many videos on this, is just the amount of variants that are hitting the market week after week after week. I just did my preview video, and there was 20 some odd covers for Captain Marvel. Do you guys see that trend exceeding that, or staying the same, or eventually, hopefully by the end of 2019, they kind of realize, hey, maybe we don't need to make 20 copies of one book.
Well,
so I want to get everyone's thoughts.
One thing about that one is, Bueller, if you think about it, the Captain Marvel, she's the next movie that the MCU's putting out, and whenever they put out those movies, or whenever there's some hype, they're going to be printing a ton of different variants, all kinds of stuff, because they know that Captain, same with Venom, you know, when the Venom movie and the Venom news were coming out, they had a ton of Venom books. Venom was everywhere. The variants were everywhere. And I see the same thing for Captain Marvel. All I'm hoping is, you know, once the Shazam movie gets closer, we get some more Shazam books. I'm talking, put Shazam in the Justice League, put Shazam in all the other books, you know, because that's what we need. We need more Shazam. But I think when it comes to movies or TV shows, I think those garner a lot of attention. So I think the comic book, publishers, they really hop on that bandwagon, hop on that train, because they know it makes the fans go insane.
Hey, I just want to take a minute and say, Mark, now's your chance, buddy. She left. You can escape. Or where'd you get?
You say that
run,
now,
Mark, run!
You say that now, but there's a chain around his ankle, about 10 feet.
I can't make it very far, guys. I'm sorry. I am kind of stuck to this couch.
That's well. Let me ask you, Mark. Obviously, KATREN, she does her comics. I mean, I know that you're into some other stuff. Is there any trends? I mean, do you see the variant trend staying the same, or is there any trends that you don't like or would like to see change, or some new trends? What's your thoughts? And you can let Kat say some things as well, but just get permission from her first.
Okay, honey, do I have permission to talk really quick? Yeah. Okay, anyway. So
he epitomizes the Me Too movement, people. Me Too.
It's just okay.
Just a little side note. I was for some reason I was going through on Facebook and I went through your guys' photos, and apparently you guys have been together for quite a long time. But you can tell that KATREN has always ruled the roost with this relationship, just by going back and looking at them. Just a little side note. But anyway, go. I'm throwing it to you guys. Go ahead.
Anyways, I don't like very many variants, honestly. I wish that they wouldn't keep printing the same book over and over again. But that's just me, because Katie always has to buy all the variants over and over again. Wait, what'd that say, Chad?
It said Mark II movement.
Oh.
The Mark II movement.
Subtle.
So, Kat, what about you? Do you like the variant trend? Is there any trends that you wish would come back that have kind of faded away, or is there some that you wish would fade away? What's your thoughts?
As far as variants go, I look at it as art. And if I am a huge fan of a certain artist's style or the way they draw a certain character, I'm always going to get that variant, whether I'm reading that book or not. Just an example of this, I got the more recent J. Scott Campbell Amazing Spider-Man that had Black Cat on the cover, because I thought that was a gorgeous black cat. Am I reading Spider-Man right now? No. But it was a list price black cat, and it was amazing. I thought it was gorgeous. I needed to have it in my collection. However, when it comes to things like virgin variants, high ratioed variants, the black and white sketch variants, the non-title variants. I'm like, that's a bit out of hand. I will admit they get a bit out of hand when there's 50 variants for Batman, what have you, this, that, whatever. I mean, Batman 50 had over 100, correct? I mean, that was a bit much.
Yeah.
But I look at it as art. If I love what's on the cover, I'm gonna get it. I'm a lover of art. And like Amanda Connor, I get a lot of her covers just because I think they're really fun and they're really cute. So I really like variants, but I do agree that they're all over the place. What?
You just get it because it's Amanda Connor.
I do like Amanda Connor's work.
Just so you guys know, Kat, she likes to stick her tongue out at me. She did it one time. I think I did my pick of the week was like Firefly, and she didn't know I could see her, and she's like sticking her tongue out on me on the camera, and I'm like, I started laughing, but that's kind of her thing. So
I do that to people. I'm sorry.
Yeah, don't apologize for that.
She called me before, and she says, Chad. She texted me and she goes, "Are we really dressing up?" I called her right back. She goes, "Or is Mark messing with me?" And I was like, "I better call because I don't want Mark to get hit." And I said, "No, we're gonna try to." And she goes, "You know, I can hold a grudge a long time."
Oh yes, she can.
I told him, and I quote, "You do it that far away, and I've got a very good memory."
I didn't know they were dressing up, and I think it's pretty cool.
I didn't know nothing either. Me and Paul
night on Bueller
added us.
So I'm curious. I'm curious in the chat. So I mean, we got, I'm not dressed up, and Legend and Paul, we're not dressed up, but we got 4 other people that are dressed up. Who is carrying it the best? If you in the chat, if you let me know, is it Seawood, is it Chad, or is it Mark, or is it Kat? Please in the chat, let us know. And you know what?
Speaking of chat, hey Bueller, we got Robert Galvin. He says, "Yeah, let me tell you about. He's been wanting some of the new Silver Surfer covers, and yes, it's getting a little ridiculous." He says, "Better have some deep pockets." And then he says, "Love you, Legend." And I always love me some Robert Galvin. Like I said before,
funny, right?
One of the best, in the comic book community.
Oh, look at that. We got Chad, Seawood, Kat. Oh, everyone's getting some vote. What about Mark? Is Mark in there? Oh, there's one for I like Mark's tie. That's by Thanatos. So Mark,
all right.
Your tie gets a vote. That's about it.
Just the one tie.
Probably because I bought you that tie.
You don't.
That's right. And you're gonna wear it, damn it.
It's not my color.
Economics of Comics says KATREN and husband.
She's gonna be like
Pilgrim, Chad by far.
Enough.
Seawood and Chad. Wow, it's a pretty good. I can't keep track. There's so many going.
I think out of all of them, that's Seawood 19. I think he's got it won, man.
He's looking pretty good, man. He's got my vote.
I think Chad got
my
most
vote.
votes.
I think Chad
I voted for Chad, actually.
I voted for Chad.
He looked like he was doing his
Sorry,
taxes
Mark.
earlier. It was making me laugh.
He looks like a secret agent that's going to arrest us all.
Chad looks like he's hanging out with John Travolta and Samuel L. Jackson in Pulp Fiction right now. And
Yeah,
stuff, man. He's
still
looking pretty good.
He's still looking for the gimp.
Royale.
He looks kind of Mad Men-y too.
That's the first gimp bomb on the Comics with Bueller show.
I mean, if it's
Bring
a
out the
public
guild. Dude, it never
office,
meets the
I would say
comic order.
Seawood.
What was
When I
that?
first saw him, I said he looked like a politician.
He does look like a
Does
politician.
I look like Mr. Blonde? Oh my! One of the
Reservoir Dogs.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a
you
good
look good. Everybody looks good. I want to get back. I want to get over to Paul. Paul's sitting there, and Paul, you've been in the game a long time. Okay, do you see any trends fading away or starting up in 2019? And what would you like to see come back? Are you a fan of the variant trend that we're immersed in right now? And I want to say before we got 110 people watching. Thank you so much, everybody. And this is my buddy Paul, who presses books professionally, and you're going to want to check that out. So, Paul, what's your thoughts?
I like variants. I don't like 60 variants per book. And I really hate when it's an artist I collect and it's a 1 in 500 variant. But I do like the fact that, you're getting more exposure for the artists there, and for people like me who collect certain artists, it's a good thing as long as you can get them. Another trend is I see no slowing down in the comic movie trend. Avengers Endgame is going to make all the money. I don't mean it's going to make a lot of money. It's going to make all the money.
Yeah.
As far as I know, the companies love digital and they would love to go more digital. I don't see more digital happening because I think on the fan side, you're seeing not as much pickup of the digital side of things. If I get something digital, I usually buy a paper copy too, and I have the digital one just to read it. So I read comics digital. I collect comics. But yeah, I don't know where we're going with the variants. I don't know whether it's everybody's saying that that's going to be the thing that's going to be like the 90s when we had the die cut foil hologram covers and it caused the big crash.
Yeah.
And that wasn't really what caused the big crash. What caused the big crash was like the debacle over Superman 75, where people thought they were going to put their kids through college on it and then couldn't. But there was a growing backlash against that type of cover.
Yeah.
I don't think we've achieved critical mass on that yet with variants, but I think it eventually will come and there will be a snapback and a correction.
Is there any trends that you would like to see come back that were, like I said, you've been around a long time. Is there anything you'd like to see kind of make a comeback in the comic book world?
It's a tough question.
I'm going to make you work for it, man. You didn't dress up.
It's because Chad didn't call me and say, hey, we need to dress up.
He didn't call me either.
In a lot of ways, no. I think we're kind of in a golden age right now. I mean, I think we've got a lot of great art and story out there. There's wider distribution than there's ever been. I mean, sure, we're not getting 1 million copies of every issue now, but I think this is kind of like a great time to be a fan.
Yep. I would agree. What about you, C. Wood? What's your thoughts on variants, trends that you see happening from 2019 coming into 2018 rolling over to 2019? Is there some stuff you'd like to bring back? Is there stuff you want to get rid of? Let's hear it, buddy.
We talk about variants a lot, and honestly, I think it's just going to keep continuing into 2019. There's no question about that. As long as people are paying and buying all the variants out there, and artists like your J. Scott Campbells can open up their own online stores and make a huge go of it, it's just going to keep getting bigger and bigger. But that's not the trend I'm kind of concerned about. I was talking, I think me and Chad were talking a little bit earlier on the phone, and the biggest trend, honestly, I'm a little concerned about is just, the emphasis on the outside cover and the lack of emphasis on what's actually inside the book. Yeah. I just keep getting reminded of this Robert Kirkman kind of interview. Like it's almost maybe been a decade at this point. But he was just kind of saying that he saw most of these creators would go from Marvel or DC to places like Image so they could really carve their teeth over there and get behind their own properties and really excel at creating their own thing rather than going and contributing to the Superman mythos or Captain America mythos. I just wish Marvel or DC they do a little bit more to keep people in house. Maybe pay these people a little bit more money to stick around, because right now, I mean, you got the guys like Robert Kirkman years ago who's like, I think he put it in the interview. He's just like, I could either, if I was a chef, would I go make my own restaurant, make my own type of food and craft it the way I want? Or would I go to Red Lobster and get that steady paycheck and, make the cheddar baked biscuits all the time? That was his analogy he used, if I remember correctly. So I just wish, I kind of hope Marvel and DC eventually look at the interior art in their books and that stuff. And there's good interior art. I don't want to say it's bad or anything. I just feel like over the last few years, it's kind of not as good as it has been the last few decades. But I just hope Marvel and DC kind of up their standards a little bit in terms of the product inside the book, rather than focusing on getting cover X of Captain Marvel out next week.
Yeah. I like how you say the product inside the book, and this kind of ties to it. And there's a couple of things in the chat here from like James Hardy and stuff, and Michael Porson. The cover price of the book, do you guys see that going up? And James Hardy said it'd be nice to have a $1.99 book. I love that, but I think it's going to be a $4.99 cover price by the end of the year for pretty much every issue. Right now, it's pretty much the trend for number ones and obviously event books are always like the $4.99 or above.
Going to $8 now.
Yeah, $8. But I think the $4.99 cover price is going to be a thing within the next few months. To be honest, would you guys agree? I don't think I'm alone on this.
I think so too. What do you think, Midwest? The $4.99s for all across the board.
Yep, I think so. I mean, DC did their $2.99 to get everybody through the door for Rebirth, but they've been creeping up. I think it's $3.99 for most of them now, and it's definitely going to keep creeping back up.
But DC on that end, they did the right thing. They priced it based off of when it's coming out. So if it's coming out more frequently, the price is staying down. If it's coming out once a month, price is going up. Problem I have with anything is like paying like Tim the Collector, Detective Comics 1000 is going to be $10.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness! And how many variants are they going to have for that? Are they going to do the same? Oh my goodness!
Not to mention all the store variants that they're going to have for it.
Yeah, they're doing the decade variants again for that one, I believe.
So,
and then, what about Marvel pricing right now?
Oh my goodness gracious!
Just in general.
I will have you guys know, just to show you, I went to McDonald's today, and the McChicken sandwich was on the $1 menu last year, and now it's on the $3 menu.
Oh my God!
Things are going up, man. I was devastated. The McChicken is a staple from my $1 love, and now it's $3 a sandwich.
Well, you know, I always told you, Bueller, I said the place where you need to go is Taco Bell. That's where Sam just messaged me the other night and said, "Hey brother, I'm thinking about you. I'm eating some Taco Bell right now." Sam sent me that. I just cracked up. I want to take the time collectibles real quick because Take the Time Collectibles. He's in the chat right now. Brian B is in the chat. He has an awesome comic book shop in Florida. It's also the home comic shop of Jesse from JLS Comic Conversation on Thursday night. JLS Comics, if you want to sub the man up. But he says alternative comics can be had for between $1 and $1.50. So, you know, some of the independent books, you know, like I know Image sometimes will have some $3.50 prices. I know they're East of West for the longest time. Was $3.50, and some of those books you can get a lower price and everything. But I want to let y'all know if you have a LCS or you order or pre-order your books online from the Midtown Comics or mycomicshop.com, make sure you do pre-order 2 months in advance. Try to take advantage. I know Midtown and mycomicshop.com will give you 35% off the cover price if you pre-order 2 months in advance. So definitely make sure if you order a ton of books, make sure you do that. Save yourself some money. You know, don't go broke buying all these variants and comic books and stuff. You know, save your money and pre-order and get that 35% off discount.
That's right. Chad, what are you doing?
What do you mean?
What are you doing over there? Are you ordering pizza again?
No, I'm just sitting here. Just sitting here.
Chad likes to order pizza during live streams.
I haven't done that for a while.
So I did think of another one, Bueller. That
go ahead. I was going to get to you, Paul. Let's hear it.
Event fatigue.
Absolutely. Event fatigue.
He said it.
Back in the 90s, it used to be that each of DC and Marvel, they would have, you know, at least a 6-month buildup, maybe a year to an event. Then they would have the event, and then they'd have 6 to 12 months of the fallout from the event. Now you've got multiple events going on at the same time. And when you have these events, they're always retconning everything. So you have event A going on, which is retconning a character, and event B starts, and they start retconning the same character. They haven't even finished retconning in the first one. Nobody knows what the hell's going on anymore.
Yeah.
And, you know, you end up having to buy 9 bazillion books to even have a clue what's going on. And it's just, it wears you out. I'm tired of multiple events every year.
It's so many events, so little time. If you look at, if any of y'all are wrestling fans, big shout out to that Wwe Ppv Reviews, good wrestling plug there. You know, back in the day, back in the 80s, and I wish old JD was here. He would know, since he went, JD, all of y'all know JD, he went to WrestleMania 1. But the events, you know, they would always build up to mainly WrestleMania. You know, they'd have a couple, you know, pay-per-views, then it went to 4 pay-per-views, and now it's like a pay-per-view every month. Hence why we got to review all these things. And then there's just so much going on. And if you're, not tuning in, every week or every month to watch the what happens, you'll be lost. The same thing, the soap operas have been doing it for years, but they slow things down. So if you miss one episode of Days of Our Lives, you miss a little bit of that bow and hope. Then the next week, they haven't gone too far because the story structure is a lot slower, and they don't have a lot of those like big time freaking events all the time like Marvel and DC does. And it's just Marvel and DC always competing against each other, trying to outdo each other. But a lot of times for us, it's like y'all said, it's buyer's fatigue,
Yeah. Hey, Legend, I stopped at a shop today, and it was the first time I saw the shop, and they'd opened 4 months ago, and I was talking to him, and I was said to him, well, first off, they were trying to find their identity. It's the first shop that I've walked into around here that actually had slabs on the wall, which was really cool. But he said that Marvel is killing them when it comes to variants. And he goes, if he didn't have the program comics from Comic Pro, that he would be over ordering right now just based off of the sheer number of variants. And he said that DC is good to them and treats them well, whereas the Marvel was putting out a ton of covers, and it's really hard for some smaller LCSs to catch up.
And I totally agree, and I love DC. I read about one DC or two DC titles. I read about 1 to 2 Marvel titles a month. But exactly true. Marvel is cranking out the variants and just really like going crazy, where DC doesn't crank out that many. DC's just trying to make sure people buy cover A and cover B, because DC needs to up the game in their movie universe. Whereas Marvel, they're making a ton of money anyways, so they're just printing out everything they can, because they know the hype is real, big shout out, Robert Galvin, $5 super chat. Gotta love our man Galvin. To the redheads in the house, thumb up, subscribe to everyone in here, folks. He says, Bueller, hopefully I see my name embroidered on that vest.
The vest is filling up, man. I don't know if I can move there, but it is getting filled up, and so that's pretty cool.
Dude, it's awesome and a great idea too.
Yeah, so I like it. But I got a couple. These are a couple of the trends I want to see, and some of you guys might already know this. Shiny covers, I love them. Give me more shiny covers. When DC did the month-long thing of shiny covers for all their titles, I was in heaven. I had to buy every one. A thing I miss, I liked the crossovers between publishers. I don't know if they've done that for a long time, but I love the old Justice League versus Avengers type thing. And they did that a few times and stuff like that. I would love to see that come back. Does anyone have anything that they'd like to see come back in 2019?
Well, I heard there's a shortage in the Chromium mine, so the shiny covers might be down a little.
Don't say that, Chad. Chad, you have a little pitchfork right there.
Yeah, I got a trident.
Yeah, it's shiny. It's shiny goodness right there.
I stabbed a man once with a trident.
I will say not necessarily a 2019 thing, but I think that one of the best things of 2018 was DC with what they did with their B covers. I think that was awesome. It really showcases the art, and I hope they do more of that.
I liked when DC did that whole run on Forever, when they did the comics and the changing.
Lenticular cover for the villains. That was a lot of fun.
Space Baby said, "Bring back gray tones." I love those gray tone wash covers from the Silver Age, man.
Yeah, me too. Those were beautiful. You'd have old Namor maybe on the front, or another of the greats. I mean, those look really cool.
Like the Russ Heath Sea Devils and stuff like that. That stuff was awesome.
Absolutely.
There's about 2 things I could think of that I want to see in 2019. Number one, I hope that eventually DC uses their streaming app to mirror more like Marvel Unlimited in terms of the comic book and the reading services. Because reading stuff 6 months out that you might miss is actually really awesome if you subscribe to the services. So if they added that, to the DC aspect, it would be amazing. And I would probably read a lot more of their books, to be honest. And then what was number 2? I've already forgot. Well, number 2 was just annuals. Like the annuals now, they just feel like filler, and they're supposed to be like your one mega-sized big issue that someone might pick up on an impulse. So if they're going to continue to do these annuals, like scrap your like X-Men special and X-Men whatever, and just have that X-Men annual and just make a good quality read out of that.
It's funny you bring that up because literally the Uncanny X-Men annual is coming out in like 2 weeks.
Oh my god!
And here this series just started, and the annual, which from my point of view was once a year. I don't know when they stopped doing that, but the first annual is coming out in like 2 weeks for the Uncanny X-Men.
Yeah, last year they had like a Thanos annual when there wasn't even a Thanos book.
Yeah, yeah, they did this annual for Silver Surfer.
Yeah.
I'm like, am I missing the title or something? But they did a bunch of that
consistent.
So real quick, I want to ask this, and just a quick opinion of everybody. Will we see reboots from DC and Marvel in 2019? Legend, what do you think?
Yeah, reboots are coming. We'll see another reboot. I don't know if they'll do a reboot as far as like a New 52 or Rebirth style reboot, but for normal titles, I think, did they, y'all have to help me out because I don't follow a lot of the titles, you know, mainly it's just the Fantastic Four, but did Daredevil do a renumber lately?
Yeah,
there's also a new Conan book. I think that's a number 1. So all kinds of times, you know, they redo numbers. It's insane.
Yeah,
but I think that'll keep happening. You know, with certain titles, I think right now Marvel now. I think they've done all they could do for now. But then DC, they had the Rebirth, and I think they're pretty happy where they are, and hopefully they'll continue just the great storytelling from DC. And Marvel's storytelling is getting good too. It's the interior art that has me worried about Marvel.
That's right. Paul, what do you think? Do you think we're going to see reboots from Marvel and DC this year?
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see any company-wide reboots like Rebirth or New 52 or anything like that. But like Legend said, I think that's one of the trends that I dislike is nowadays, whenever a book changes creative teams, everybody feels like they have to completely reinvent the character, and you don't. Just keep the story going. You know, it's like they totally change everything about the character and say, I have to make my mark. No, you don't. You have to just put out a good story, good art. That's what we want.
All right, KATREN, Mark, what do you guys think? I mean, KATREN, you like the reboots, don't you? I know you do. You're a big reboot it. KATREN's like, reboot it. She loves it.
No.
Oh.
No. My issue
this is where Mark goes, KATREN, what's my thoughts on this?
My issue is I invest years of time into these storylines, into this status quo as a whole. And like what they did with the New 52, which was a huge failure in my books, for this simple fact alone, they threw away all of their history. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that's what Rebirth gave back to DC. And I mean, Jeff Johns and so many other creators for Rebirth into Universe have fixed a lot of the issues that the New 52 created. But I do see the whole reason to reboot. I mean, it's a new number 1. You're going to get more people to go out to buy that number 1, more money. I understand that. But I could see a reboot coming from Marvel a lot quicker than I could see it coming from DC, because I feel like DC as a whole, they're pretty successful in where they wanted to go with their reboot, where Marvel's kind of all over the place for me. I'm only picking up 3 Marvel titles right now, and I'm pretty sure they're all on the chopping block. So I look at it this way. I try not to get invested in Marvel books because they always cancel them as soon as I decide I love them.
Oh man,
go back. Anytime I say I love a Marvel title, it gets canceled. So
then Mark gets punished.
You know, there's a great Inhuman X in the chat brings up a great point. He thinks the companies, the big two, need to focus more on the smaller characters and, of course, maybe do indie books. And I agree, because I was a big fan of the new Superman, Kenan Kong, the Chinese Superman. Huge fan of Blue Beetle, Jaime Reyes. I love Blue Beetle, Ted Kord as well. Ted Kord's probably my favorite. Animal Man's another great one. Swamp Thing, like Phantom Stranger. I mean, all those, some of my favorite minor characters are from the DCU, and I agree with old X there. I wish they would do some more of those minor characters instead of focusing on 50 Deadpool titles, 50 Batman titles, 50 Wolverines, all of that other stuff, you know.
That's right. So, Seawood, go ahead.
Before we move on, just one quick question. Have you read the newest Heroes in Crisis issue?
I have not read that. I have not read any Heroes in Crisis. My fingers are crossed. I hope they didn't kill off some of my minor hopefuls.
Well, there's
don't say anything. You save it for the Comic Core here in a few minutes for the people, because we're going to be going over our picks of the week. Is that correct?
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah, so Comic Core in a few minutes. We're going to save a little bit of the goodness for the Comic Core. So don't say anything, KATREN. All right. All right. So, Seawood, what about you? Reboots this year or not? Yes or no?
Oh yeah, absolutely, 100%. Not like Rebirth or New 52, but they'll probably do something as usual, like Marvel Now they did back then. I mean, we'll see new #1s and that stuff. It's a constant at this point, like we've already discussed. I mean, most people in the chat listen to the stuff that's going on now. Like you got your Captain Marvel that reboots. Hey, next week we've already had a Green Lantern with Grant Morrison come in, so they're just going to keep doing it based on, you know, the sales of their non-performing titles keep going away. And I mean, probably when a movie comes out, I wouldn't be surprised to see, you know, Avengers reboot this summer, right when Endgame comes out, to be honest. So we'll see what happens there. So I guess maybe that's my early call. Avengers #1, May 2019.
Chad, what about you? Are you looking forward? Do you think there's going to be reboots for your lovely DC books that you just love so much, and you just always show your wonderful DC books that we give away on the Comic Core? Don't forget, we do giveaways on the Comic Core all the time. Chad, what do you think?
I'm going to say something. Chuck Load brought up a good thing in the chat, and it was DC paying respect to Stan Lee in this week's. I really like that. I don't think you're going to see a reboot in DC. I think you might see some tweaks, and you'll see some characters come back, but overall, you'll definitely see something in Marvel, because they got to stick with what's going to be in the theaters. So, hey, the mouse wins.
That's right. Well, here we go. This is what we're going to do. We're going to wrap things up on the Comics with Bueller, but the party doesn't stop. It's just getting started over on the Comic Core. Chad, we have a guest tonight on the Comic Core?
Yeah, we will have our sponsor, and he may be bringing a special guest with him. So.
Okay, that's awesome. And the Comic Core starts in literally about 20 minutes. And Chad, can you put the link in the chat for everybody and stuff? And we're just going to wrap it up. And I want everyone to join us, because we keep it going. We're going to talk about our picks of the week. We're going to talk about what I thought about Heroes in Crisis. And obviously, I think KATREN's going to share her opinion as well. And everybody here reads the comics and stuff. And we got some other topics to discover or talk about. And we have guests. And that'll be going on for quite a while in just about 20 minutes. So please join us. It's the Comic Core. The link will be in the chat, because Chad's going to put it in there. Look at him. He's already taken his jacket off. He's like, I've had enough of this crap. Wait a minute. Look at that. Super Chad.
Look at him. Say something, Chad. Get up
Clark
on that.
Kent on the stream.
Where'd Chad go? Where's Chad?
You didn't know we had a superhero on the panel.
That's right. It's not Super Chat. It's Super Chad.
We can put it over there looking like my pal Jimmy Olsen. He didn't get the memo of the cool T-shirt underneath.
Very cool. But I just want to tell Chad, thank you for being on. I really appreciate it. Like I said, everybody, we're not done. We're going to get the ball rolling here in just a few minutes on the Comic Core. So everybody check it out. The link will be in the chat. Chad's going to put it in there. Chad, thank you for being on, buddy. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Thank you. And then Seawood, you're going to be on there as well here in a few minutes. I want to say thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate it. And let's see that. What do you got there, buddy?
Oh, I wore a Veronica Mars T-shirt today. So that's what's on under here. It's coming back in 2019. Yeah.
That's awesome. Awesome. See what? Thank you so much for being on tonight. I really appreciate
Show
it.
that.
Kristen
I might
Bell.
get us age restricted.
Oh yeah.
Oh, wait,
That's
Thanks
my
for having us, Bueller.
wife's favorite shows. She loves Veronica Mars.
Very cool. KATREN and Mark, you guys, I want to say thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you for having us. I had a blast.
It was a lot of fun.
Are you, Mark? Do you have a shirt underneath there or something, or no?
Nope.
He's trying to get us age restricted.
Oh, it's
all of the
Shirtless firefighter.
Wow. But KATREN and Mark, I really do appreciate you guys coming on. I can't wait to have you on again sometime. And also we have Paul. I want to say, Paul, thank you so much for being on the show. This is Midwest Comics. He's the professional presser and cleaner of comics. He does all your cleaning and pressing needs. Paul, thank you so much.
Yep. Thanks for having us. And we'll be seeing y'all in about 20 minutes, hopefully, on the Comic Core, where we tend to be a little bit looser and not quite as professional as here.
Yeah, the clothes are already coming off, as you guys can already see. The clothes are coming off, and we're not even started yet. And then we have the legend himself. He is now a 2-time guest on Comics with Bueller. I want to say thank you so much, legend.
I love this show, Bueller. You're one of my most favorite people to watch here in the YouTube comic book community, and the community is blessed to have a person like you to bring that positivity, and you did it in 2018. I'm excited to see what Comics with Bueller has to offer us in 2019. And like everyone said, y'all know it's all about the Comic Co. So make sure y'all stop on by and see what we got going on tonight. And tomorrow night, check us out on Legends Live Auction. I may have some of these people on the auction. You really never know. If they got books to sell, they can sell them on the Great Legend Show anytime. Thanks, Bueller.
Thank you. And I want to say thanks again. And everybody in the chat, please come on over to the Comic Core. It's a great channel. I've been a part of it for a long time. And like I said, Chad invited me to come on board along with the rest of these people. And we have a good time every Friday night. So please feel free to jump on over there. We'll be going live in about 15 minutes on the Comic Core. The party is just getting started. I actually kind of cut loose a little bit, and sometimes it gets a little weird, but that's okay because I like it. I just wanted to give you guys an update as far as what's going on my end. My very first, this Sunday is my community spotlight live stream. It's going to be at 4 o'clock on Sunday. It's 4 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time. My guests are going to be Jeffrey Komikhan, White Whale Comics, and John's Comics with Kids. That'll be my very first community spotlight. It's at 4 o'clock Pacific Standard Time this Sunday. All right, guys, I think we did it. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I appreciate everybody in the chat. I thank you so much for everybody showing up tonight. And we'll see you guys in about 15 minutes. Don't forget to like, subscribe. You guys know what to do. We'll see you in 15 minutes. Bye.
Bye.